From attic to basement, we're here for you. It's quality service in all we do. Call Taylor. 500 help.
That's right. Taylor Heating and Plumbing. Day like today when it's 92 degrees in Rochester, New York, you want to make sure your air conditioning is working right. Or maybe if you don't have an AC unit, you want to think about getting one. Call the guys at Taylor Heating and Plumbing at Taylor 500 Help, and they will make sure that everything is set up and working great for you. Tailor-made service, customized to fit your needs. That's what they're all about. Air conditioning, heating, plumbing, home energy, comprehensive maintenance plans. If something goes out in the middle of the night, don't stress the repairs. Call Taylor Heating and Plumbing. They obviously have great financing so that you can not stress those little repairs or replacements. And if you're looking for a job, Taylor is hiring some of their current opportunities: HVAC techs, plumbers, project managers, office personnel. It's Taylor Heating and Plumbing. Call Taylor 500 Help. You want your lawn to look better than anyone else? Of course you do. Precision Lawn and Garden, right up there, North Avenue in Webster. Precision Lawn and Garden has been servicing surrounding areas in Rochester professional sales, service, and parts since 1969. They know a thing or two about a chainsaw or a lawnmower or the big daddy of those zero-turn lawnmowers. Whatever you need, they have for your lawn, winter or summer, at Precision Lawn and Garden. They have all your favorite brands: Kawasaki engines, Cub Cadet, Ariens, Toro. Precision Lawn and Garden. Kimberly and Justin, they are your peeps, so make sure you search them out. Express Sealers. You want your driveway to look nice. If your yard looks nice and you got nice air conditioning, you have to have your driveway that looks good. 645-2010. Brian seals driveways in the summer on the east side. He plows in the winter residential driveways. 645-2010. So I'm going to tell you, call him, get on the list to have your driveway sealed. Express Sealers, 645-2010. Please support our advertisers. They support us here at Kimberly's Revolution and the We the People Podcast Network.
I think summer's here,
Hello.
at least till tomorrow. Live from the We the People Podcast Network studios
Yes.
in hazy, hot, 88-degree Irondequoit, New York.
Very hot.
She'd rather be by the pool sipping a Pinot,
Yeah, I would.
but she's here slumming it with us.
I am.
Here she is. It's Kimberly Ray.
Hey, it's Kimberly's Revolution. How was your Memorial weekend?
Awesome.
Yeah, you had a good one?
Lots of busy
Fantastic.
things. I turned yellow.
I-
What the hell?
Why are you a hazy shade of yellow?
I'm hazy.
It was fine a second ago. What you do, Tom?
I don't know.
Did you touch
That's a
it?
good picture of me, though.
I like Tom in yellow. I don't know what that is, but it works for me.
It's
So
a
what did you do?
malfunction.
Did you?
Couple of picnics,
All right.
one to my sister-in-law and
Yeah.
one to my daughter's in-laws.
Nice.
So we had a couple of picnics
Nice.
and enjoyed the weekend. It's beautiful
right.
weather.
Was beautiful weather. It is hot. Today's Kimberly's Revolution is called Feel the Need.
I feel the need.
The need for speed.
The need for
Of
speed.
course, little Top Gun reference. There you are. You're back in normal color. You're back in HD.
I like the yellow.
Yeah, I did too. It gives you a little something extra,
Yeah.
don't you think?
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that
You're
a lot.
looking for change when you're old.
So I feel the need for speed. Of course, I am Kimberly from Kimberly's Revolution. Just Tom is sitting right across from me.
I'm here.
And of course, making it all happen behind the scenes is our producer that we cannot live without. That is Austin. Where is he? There
Hello.
he is. He is poolside. See him right there? He's also whiter than white. You know, the Irish don't tan. I don't know.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah. I just turn red. That's all. That's
Yeah,
all that
pretty
happens.
much me too.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
You got to burn before you tan.
Yeah, and I hear that's bad for your skin. You know,
Eh,
with the skin cancer. and
knew?
all that. You got to die somehow, though, right?
Right.
You're not getting out of this joint alive. That's what they tell me. I don't know if that's true, but thanks to Austin for being here and producing. And of course, we always thank Fitz at Rockvox Productions. If you want to do your own podcast, if you're thinking about, man, I'd like to set something up and do what you guys do, Fitz at Rockvox Productions can either do it all for you or help you set one up, and you can book time at his little place over there in Bolshin Hills Basin. So it fits at Rockvox Productions. It's ROCVOX Productions. So welcome to a Tuesday. We are glad you guys are here. Glad you survived the Memorial weekend. We got a lot to talk about. Movies that we saw, some people that didn't make it through the weekend, a 10-year-old perp doing the perp walk. We've got a lot of stuff to get to today. Nancy Pelosi's husband Who else got a DWI over the weekend? I mean,
I got 2.
can you got 2 DWIs
Yeah,
over
who
the
knew?
You're so full of shit. It's called an Uber.
You're not supposed to drink and drive. Who
I don't
knew
know.
that?
I don't know if old guys know about that, but
Nah.
you're 82. You're out dry. Oh, anyway, we will get to that in just a little bit. But for me, for the first time on Saturday since Christmas of 2019,
Pre-COVID,
my husband and I went to the movie theater.
Wow. Who knew? Had a
What is it?
special date and everything?
It's such a monumental thing. I look over at my husband and I'm like, this is so weird.
Was there a hole in the bottom of the popcorn container? No?
That's really gross.
No?
Ew.
Just checking.
We went to the movies
All
to
right.
see Top Gun.
Nobody would go to me. I asked Lori, I said, can we go on Friday to go to the movies? She goes,
No,
I'm tired.
you know, you can go by yourself.
I don't know. I just feel weird doing
That's what
stuff
I
by
said.
myself.
Austin?
That's why I told him to go by.
I
himself,
would-
too, yeah.
I've gone to many a movie by. Am I the only one that goes by myself?
No, I also go by myself.
Do you go by yourself?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's the best way to
I can't
go.
do anything by myself.
Wow, you have issues.
I do. Yes.
Yeah, you can't go to the movies by yourself.
I don't know. I felt weird.
Why?
I don't know. Like I was a loser,
Well, yeah.
right?
No, you wouldn't be a loser. I mean, sometimes it's just I don't mind going to the. I've
Who's
gone
this
to the movies.
creepy
But
old guy going to a movie by himself? Doesn't he have a life?
I don't really mind it. I kind of like it actually. I don't have to share my popcorn with anyone. I don't have to share my
Right.
drink. I'm that girl. I don't.
You got to get your own drink.
I have that chihuahua. Don't touch my popcorn. Get your popcorn. I'll get my popcorn. If you want Milk Duds, get your own. I'm not sharing mine.
But you get a refill on that large that you bring home and never do anything with.
Here's the thing. We never eat all the popcorn,
Right.
even though we get a large. And I always make my husband hold it. He always has to hold the
The
popcorn. 'cause
whole movie.
I'm not holding the popcorn. but we did. We went to see Top Gun. How is
I'm
it that
jealous.
Tom Cruise
Jealous.
never ages?
He's a handsome man.
I think it made like $161.5 million
That's all?
over the weekend. They're still counting. I mean, that's the last count I saw from a couple of hours ago.
It's like the election. They're
But-
still counting for that too.
Yeah, it was huge at the box office. And Tom Cruise said that he was not going to release this movie on, so that people could sit in their house or on their iPad and watch it on a little bitty screen. There he is. There's Tom Cruise. Looks the same. I loved the movie. I loved it. Val Kilmer was in it.
He can't talk anymore.
It's
They made a computer talk for
yeah,
him.
they made a computer. He did whisper a little bit because obviously he had throat cancer
Right.
and is not doing well. But he was in the movie. I thought he looked fantastic. I thought
Did he have the spike hair?
he didn't.
No.
But I thought Tom Cruise looked great. I loved it.
Revisiting our youth, Kimberlina.
36 years ago.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Seems like yesterday.
Austin
Yeah,
wasn't even
Of
You're
course,
telling me, right?
of course, that's how life works, right?
you weren't even born, Austin.
No.
No, I wasn't. But I've seen Top Gun, so I'm going to see the new one tonight.
Yeah. Oh, you'll love it.
I was so depressed about not going that I did watch the old one.
Did you?
Yes.
So Goose's son is
Spoiler alert.
in it.
Spoiler
Yeah, yeah.
alert.
He is one of the top flight guys,
Right.
of Top Gun pilots. And so I will tell you, no more free refills for popcorn. We never get the refills anyway, Stryker. But is that true? I didn't know that. But I thought the movie was great. And Tom Cruise said, I'm not releasing the movie during COVID. If people can't go see it on the big screen, then I'm never releasing the movie. That's what he said.
Really?
Yeah.
Kind of an egomaniac thing, right?
He's insisting that the movie be shown in a movie theater. And I'm sure that movie theaters are grateful because we went over to Cinemark Tinseltown, which is the big movie theater
All
that
right.
has the luxury seats. You can go all the way back and kind of
Right.
lounge. We went over there. The parking lot was full. I was so happy to see that the movie theater, and I looked at Rich and I'm like, It's the first time since 2019. My husband and I would routinely every weekend, if not every weekend, at least twice a month, go see a movie.
Mm-hmm.
That was our thing that we would like to do is go to the
Does
movie.
he get to pick the movies, or is it just generally whatever you want to see?
I don't know. We have a consensus.
How many times did you go see like a Rocky movie?
Well, Rocky movies all came out like years ago.
Just
So
saying, something, you know, like a shoot 'em up movie. Do you
I
do
like shoot 'em up movies.
All right.
I don't like romance or comedies.
My only question
not a
with this
girl.
whole theme is, I don't know if it's too soon or not, but is Michael J. Fox now going to come back and do another?
I don't think you can. I don't think he can.
He can't.
I don't think he can. And someone else is not going to be coming back.
Another Back to the Future 4
to do another movie. Is Ray Liotta died over the weekend.
I saw that.
Goodfellas.
Yeah.
Ray Liotta, 67.
He's a baby.
Dude's not old. What happened? He died in his sleep. Isn't that how we all want to go? I mean, I have yet to hear that he was suffering from anything that made him ill, but he was 67 years old. So he did Goodfellas. That's what they called us. I wanted to be a good fella. We were good friends. We were guys. We hung out. We were good fellas. I love that movie. That is one of the movies that I will watch every single time it's on, along with Shawshank Redemption and Forrest Gump. If it's on, I'm watching it.
I agree with Forrest Gump.
If Goodfellas is on, I'm watching it because I'm like the anti-girl. I don't like any of those romance movies. I like to go see the shoot 'em up, bloody, gory stuff like that. I don't know what's wrong with me. But Ray Liotta.
Should we start with what's right with you?
Well, it's a short list. Ray Liotta was also in Field of Dreams and The Many Saints of Newark, which is the HBO prequel of The Sopranos. And the guy who plays in The Many Saints of Newark, the star, is actually James Gandolfini's son, who plays in that. I don't know if you knew that or not, but but Ray Liotta died in his sleep in the Dominican Republic. He was there filming a movie. Went to sleep.
Did he die from COVID or with
He didn't have COVID. He was there with I don't know. I didn't hear, but I loved Ray Liotta.
Yeah,
he was a
very talented,
very, very talented guy. And that's sad that he passed away over the weekend. But Generation X loves Tom Cruise. 55% of the ticket buyers were over the age of 35. Generation X. I'm a Generation X. You're like the last year of the baby boomers. I think.
You are a young Generation X.
I'm an old,
and I'm an old baby boomer.
No, it's just the opposite.
Right.
Okay.
I'm a young baby boomer
and I'm an old Generation Xer. Right. Exactly.
I was just trying to.
But yeah,
I am older than you.
55% of the ticket buyers were over the age of 35. We all wanted to get back and see our Maverick, and it was good. It was.
Did they revisit the volleyball scene?
They did.
Oh,
they played volleyball. How do you get your abs to look like that? Anyone? I just want.
They weren't really his abs. He was wearing one of those T-shirts that has the fake ab on it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right?
I mean, he does. Tom Cruise, and I know he's got the best of the best of the best.
God bless him.
Obviously, his body and his face are his money.
Obviously, he sold his soul to the devil at some point, right?
Yeah. Well, it was a good sale.
Nobody could be that. Nobody could be that perfect.
Another picture I want to show you is what I noticed on the way in today on my ride in. I pull up alongside an area. There's a 4-way stop as you're coming off
Area 51
at 390 right into West Ridge Road, where I turn and go down West Ridge Road to come here to the facilities, the podcast studios, Revere Realty. And off to my side, I see all this litter. What do you see there?
I see a few of those masks. Right.
Yeah. Yeah. The thing that they made us wear on our faces for so long.
They're everywhere.
Is now the biggest litter problem. You thought bags that you would get at your grocery store were a litter problem. These are freaking everywhere along the side of the road.
Tell me about it.
They're all over parking lots. I don't know what. Honestly, the littering problem is way worse than COVID The littering problem is disgusting.
Well, our
And
office building is just north of Irondequoit Plaza.
Mhm.
And Chad is usually pretty good about, he's the guy that goes around and picks up all the trash.
I do it too.
And
I do it too.
we get all kinds of stuff here because the wind blows it right across Titus Avenue and goes right into our bushes.
Yeah.
We don't like the weed very much, but we do pick up trash.
I was going to mention that someone might want to get out and
We do need
the,
a little weeding
and do the weeds.
Yeah.
I don't know. People have kids. Why don't they hire them to do the weeds?
They're all lazy.
But this disgusts me. It makes me so angry. You wear your disgusting masks like you do because people were sheep. And then when you're done with them, you're so concerned about COVID, you throw it out your freaking car window or you just drop it on the ground and you don't pick it up.
Well, Kimberlina, the homeless need masks too. So.
The whole thing is like the same people who so want you to cover up your your mouth don't give a rat's ass about the environment. They'll just throw their shit out the car window or will drop it on the ground and too lazy to bend over and pick up your freaking trash.
Find a damn receptacle, people.
Pisses me off.
That's one of my pet peeves too. When you're driving down the road and you see people flick their cigarettes or giant bags full of McDonald's.
Me so angry. Who
and they
does
just
that?
throw it out the window.
You know
and
what?
I lay on the horn or whatever.
Assholes do that.
And then they give you the finger.
Assholes do that.
Stop throwing shit out the window.
Major assholes throw shit out the windows. And that's exactly what they did there because that's where you come to a four-way stop. So don't tell me that it just automatically flies out of your car willy-nilly because I don't believe it for a second. Bullshit. 100% bullshit. That's bullshit. Makes me angry. I don't care about your COVID or your long haul COVID or whatever you got going on or, oh, hey, I care about throwing shit out the windows.
So maybe Revere Realty needs to do the Adopt a Highway program where we'll get out there with our bags and clean up the side of the expressway.
I'm not cleaning up other people's mess.
No, me neither.
How about you don't make the mess to begin with?
Well, that's the
Here's
liberals.
a shocker.
That would be the liberals thing, right?
Quit throwing shit out the windows. Take it home, put it in your trash like other decent human beings.
Yeah, look at the inner cities.
Okay.
I mean, how many Baltimore references and things like that do you see where trash is just mounting up on the side of the sidewalks? And
take care of where you live, people.
Yeah, nobody does.
In fact, we have a retention pond in our neighborhood, which
excuse me.
Well, you've been in our neighborhood. You've seen my house.
Yes.
They have there's a whole big pond off to the side of my house, and it's taken care of by the city. They mow it, they do all that, but they don't pick up the trash. Since my windows face it, it drives me out of my mind. So several times a year, usually in the early spring and in the late spring, I will drag my husband over there with a trash bag.
Poor
I
Rich.
kid you not, poor Rich. And Rich and I dig trash out of that retention pond because everyone else in the neighborhood is too freaking lazy. And
Plus the bees and everything else that come with it.
And they don't have to look at it, so it doesn't affect them, right? I have to look at it. So, the neighbors' kids go over there and they just throw around their water bottles and, whatever. And so, there we are.
If you just put up a sign, Kimberlina, people would stop throwing their garbage there.
Oh, yeah. Signs always stop
because that
people.
sign works.
Yeah, signs work.
Yeah.
Did you have anything to drink over the Memorial weekend?
I had a couple. I had a couple Coronas and then a couple of Mick Ultras.
Okay.
And then I think I had a couple Bud Lights, and I might have had a couple of something else too.
Jason says electric cars are going to save us all, the environment. Don't worry about litter.
Right.
So true. I don't know what I was thinking about bringing up that whole litter segment. You're right, Jason. I wouldn't worry about that at all. That's a good comment, though.
If you throw stuff out of your car, you're a total shitbag.
Yeah. So when you had all those drinks, were you driving?
I think I did. Yeah.
No, you did not. Were you at home? Did you Uber?
No, it didn't Uber.
No.
I have a limit of like 4. So wherever I go, as long as I keep it under or at 4 drinks and I'm there for more than 4 hours,
yeah,
I'm usually good.
You've done the math on that?
I've done the math.
Okay.
My body is a finely tuned machine.
You've done the chemistry experience on that whole blow and go.
I know exactly where I am at every instant.
I'm so glad to hear it. I'm so glad to hear it because apparently Nancy Pelosi's husband doesn't know his body as well as you, Tom.
No, he doesn't.
Nancy Pelosi's husband, Paul Pelosi, apparently doesn't give a rat's ass about driving drunk and killing people. And in fact, hasn't said sorry and had his representative say, well, some of the facts of the case from the accident where he was drunk are not right. You know what wasn't right? I think they wrongly reported his age as 84, when indeed Paul Pelosi is 82. And while Nancy was out on the East Coast, I think she was doing some graduation commencement ceremony at maybe Brown University. He was back in their hometown,
living it up
at some kind of fancy schmancy dinner party, where he left at about 10:45 and had a little bit to drink and decided to get into his Porsche and was hit by another car. And I don't know if the other driver was drunk, but what we do know is that Paul Pelosi, the husband of Nancy Pelosi, the House Speaker, been married for 63 years, or about 60 years, I guess, was a little intoxicated, which is probably why he couldn't avoid the other car, which was a 2014 Jeep.
When you're 82, you're either doing like Scotch or Manhattans, and that could be a little heavy.
He pulled out onto the highway there in Oakville, California, and was hit by the 2014 Jeep. Pulled into the path of a 48-year-old man in Napa. Very swanky.
Well, didn't that guy know who he was?
Napa is wine country. I don't think the California Highway Patrol really cared about who Paul Pelosi was.
He didn't do do you know who I am?
I don't know if he did or not. But he had been, there he is, there's Paul Pelosi. He had been at a dinner party in Oakville. It's right outside of Napa. And he got in his Porsche to drive home. And that's when he pulled out into the path of an oncoming Jeep. And he got smacked. He got smacked. Luckily, no one was hurt, but he was drunk and he was arrested. And they released him on $5,000 bail. And so now they say that instead of taking responsibility, he had his spokesperson say that there were some things wrong with the initial report. Okay.
Yeah, just admit
whatever. Is that
up.
your main, thought? Is that the first things first? You were drunk and driving, and you pulled out in the front of a car, and you're lucky you're here today.
Right.
But now you're going to blame, something's wrong in the report.
Admit you made a mistake, pay the fines, move on.
Yeah.
I mean, what is he supposed to do? I mean, at this point,
how pissed is she at him? How pissed is Nancy? Do you even think she's cognizant she has a husband?
She's probably how's it haven't happened already?
Does he have to drink just to put up with being?
Oh my God.
Mr. Pelosi.
I could just a quick story here.
Yeah.
But my wife's aunt, was married to his name was John, and I would drive by his house all the time, and he was always outside he had the best grass in Irondequoit in the summer. And I would say to him, I said, to drive by, pull up, hey John, how you doing? What are you doing outside? He goes, I can't go in there. He goes, I'll stay out here all day till it's dark, and then I'll go in the house.
Why?
Because she was driving him crazy.
Really? I'm going to stay outside as long as I can.
And he was like 80. Wow. He was like in his 80s. He's like, I can't go in there. He goes, I'll stay out here until dark, and then I'll go inside, go to bed. So yeah, I mean, that happens, right?
I guess if
she's who she is,
yeah,
maybe he needs that to deal with her.
He just needs to drink every now and then.
Sure.
But there he was. I hope that you didn't have the same situation happen to any of our patriots who are watching us on YouTube or Facebook or wherever you get your podcasts. But I hope none of you drove drunk. I hope none of you got a DWI like Paul Pelosi, the speaker's husband. But I'm glad to see that the officers who stopped him didn't let him go. I mean, because wouldn't you think that would be
would the car drive? We don't know what state the car was in.
Oh, I don't even know.
Yeah. I mean, it's a Porsche. It's not like a Subaru.
Oh, good. Guy's a multimillionaire.
Oh, yeah.
Guy's a multimillionaire. Could have easily. How about you just don't drive to your friend's house? If you know you're going to drink.
Well, he didn't want to leave the Porsche at the club.
How about having a driver? When you're that rich, you can
I think
afford to have a driver.
That was probably the correct answer.
I just, that's what I think. All right. So over the weekend, and I think today,
By the way, we missed you on Wednesday last week.
I was super busy last Wednesday.
I did the open and I was terrible.
Why?
Did you hear it?
No.
Well, good. Don't listen to it.
Don't listen to it.
Yeah,
What
I
did
tried.
you do?
I
Did you
read
screw it
all.
up?
I read all the whatever we were supposed to read, and
Okay.
I'm
sure you did fantastic.
no, it wasn't.
It wasn't fantastic. So, and I know you guys probably talked about
Yeah, we talked about gun control.
the
with Mr.
shootings
Hummel.
at the elementary school that
Right.
killed 19
But we know a
babies.
lot more now than what we knew then. It was very fresh then.
Yeah. So what we know today is that some of the funerals are being held this week for the victims of the Uvalde school shooting, and that families of the victims have received custom caskets at no cost, which is kind
Depressing.
of amazing for the caskets to be provided, because first off, you should never have to bury a child.
Absolutely.
But also, can you imagine? I would figure that the majority, this is not a rich town. This is a border town right
Right.
along the Texas-Mexico border. I can imagine that a lot of these families are probably strapped for cash.
Sure.
And so that families of the victims have received caskets at no cost. And 2 funeral homes in Uvalde have vowed that they will cover all the expenses, which I think is an amazing thing to
Fantastic.
do. So meanwhile, you're looking at all this, and everyone's shouting gun control, and everyone's, having their moment, because I always say Democrats love a good school shooting, because it just gives them reason to, of course, bring up gun control, gun control, gun control, as if gun control could have ever stopped this from happening. And I think that we know that gun control would not have stopped this
No.
from happening. And I don't even know if I did hear that there was not a security guard in the school district. Is the school district too poor to afford that? Should we not be sending aid to the Ukraine and instead putting a school security guard in every elementary school in the nation?
Absolutely.
Should that be our focus and not the Ukraine? That's
one point of entrance to every school. Let's lock the doors.
That's my question.
He went through a back door that was left open by a teacher.
He did.
That was, wedged open.
Yeah. So you have this, and of course we know he did buy the guns.
Very expensive guns.
After
nobody knows how he got them.
Well, he was working at Wendy's.
Because they make a lot of money.
I don't know how he saved all that money, but the guns were over $1,000 each, and he bought them both after the age of 18. So I don't know how he was able.
As a parent, what do you say when not to pass judgment on other people, but when your kid has been working for months and saving their money,
he was living with
and
his
they're
grandparents.
18 years old. What do they generally save for at that age? A car.
Yeah, car.
A motorcycle, maybe.
No.
Do they? It's like they come home. Oh, here, Grandma, I just bought a semi-automatic weapon with my money I've been saving for 3 months. What?
My question is,
I mean, isn't
how
that
connected
a
were the
flag
grandparents?
right there?
He had been kicked out of his home. He had already been arrested a couple of times on domestic issues, and he had been kicked out. He didn't live with his mother, and I don't know about
Shocking there, right?
But I
She
don't know.
said he was a good boy.
I don't know how in tune grandparents were to what this kid was doing with his money or his time, or
apparently Grandma must have said something to him because he shot her.
So, we have this issue, and then the story is out today, and I don't know if you happen to see this over the weekend or not, but Florida authorities arrested this kid on Monday. He was accused of threatening to shoot up his elementary school. The local sheriff said, "There's the kid. He's 10 years old. He was arrested Monday. He had to do the perp walk." I mean, I've got the video where the kid is being walked, handcuffed from his house to the police car. Kid is 10 years old.
I don't know. Is it the picture or does it look like he fell asleep on his couch and he's got those marks on the side of his face?
I don't know.
There's a watermark on the picture. It's a star.
You know,
It's a
when you
star,
fall
yeah.
asleep on the couch
Yeah.
and you're drooling and then you get up and you got like the,
Well,
like
the kid's a
the couch mark
kid's
on your
10.
face.
Kid's a baby.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
This is ridiculous.
So the Lee County Sheriff in Florida, Carmine Marcino, told reporters, while I understand the boy is 10 years old and his brain isn't fully developed, he is a juvenile. And I have to tell you, when a 10-year-old presses a trigger, the aftermath is the same regardless of his age.
Sure is.
So they basically did a real threat, real consequence. They found out that the kid was serious, did have access to guns, made comments while he was being questioned that apparently there was enough there to say, okay, the kid's a threat. So they spoke to the kid, and this kid, Daniel Marquez, told a friend that he had wads of cash and to get ready, he was going to carry out a mass shooting. So they go over to this 10-year-old boy's house that you see right there. He allegedly had showed a picture of 4 assault rifles, and he told his friend to get ready for water day. So authorities go over. Indeed, there were assault weapons at the residence, and the boy was charged as a juvenile for making a threat to conduct a mass shooting, of which they determined he was very serious and capable of carrying out at his elementary school. He's a 5th grader.
I know. Did you ever
He's a
think
5th grader.
Did you ever think we'd get to this point? I mean, think about a 10-year-old, okay? Well, he went into, I don't know, CVS and got a candy bar. And you get to the car and you're like, how the hell did you get that candy bar? I didn't buy that. Well, you know, it was there, so I decided to take it.
Right.
Well, what do? You get out of the car, you walk the kid in, you know, you ask for the manager, you know, here's the candy bar, you know. In other words, you ground. This kid's got automatic weapons.
Yeah.
I mean, he's 10. This isn't, you know, he took a Snickers bar out of the rack at CVS.
Yeah.
I mean, what the hell?
Is that crazy?
That's insane.
10 years old, had access. Now, I don't know. He told his buddy he bought them. Obviously, he didn't buy them. He's
Right.
10. He didn't scam a friend out of that much money to buy the guns. The guns belonged in the
Well,
house to someone.
Is it any different than 12, 13-year-olds in gangs in the city shooting themselves? I mean, what's the difference?
There's really no difference. And of course, Gun Violence Awareness Month starts tomorrow.
What a joke.
Gun Violence Awareness Month starts tomorrow.
There'll be a record number of shootings the first day of Gun Violence
Well,
Awareness Month.
Let me just tell you what happened over the weekend.
Oh, surprise.
Over the weekend, a 32-year-old man shot to death in his pickup truck at Hudson and Roycroft.
Oh, yeah.
Sunday afternoon, broad daylight here in the city, right?
Was it a stray bullet or was it targeted? Who knows?
I don't know. The guy was a security guard a couple of years ago working in an apartment complex where he shot and killed someone.
Yeah.
But he shot and killed someone that was creating a disturbance at the apartment complex. So he is a security guard, I guess, was in a fight with this guy, pulled his weapon and shot him. Was it retaliation? We don't know. But that was in 2019. That's a long time to wait for revenge. I don't know if it was a retaliation hit. Because I think those things come, pretty quickly.
Well, either way, a man is dead.
And then a guy was shot yesterday, 11 a.m. yesterday, Memorial Day.
Cutting his grass.
He was on North Avenue. I don't know what he was doing.
Mm-hmm.
But again, you have that little segment of the population that is about 1.5 miles in diameter, right?
Mm-hmm.
Where all of this stuff happens. North Avenue, Hudson Avenue, Roycroft. It's all right there in the area. All
It's
right
disturbing.
there, isn't it?
Yeah.
So
I mean, how the people that live in these neighborhoods, how do they, just cut their grass? How
I don't
do
know.
they
I
go to
think
the mailbox.
a house was shot up last night on Lakeview Terrace. There was a drive-by shooting in a house where people were living. So you have this. So they have Gun Violence Awareness Month. There was can we see that text? Do we have that text for the, yeah. Albany lawmakers expected to approve 9 bills cracking down on guns in the wake of mass shootings. That includes raising the age from 18 to 21 to purchase a semi-automatic rifle. A big priority for the governor of this state. Let me ask you, were those legal weapons that were used to shoot 2 men, killing 1 in Rochester over the weekend, legal weapons? Why are law-abiding citizens being penalized because of criminals? Well, I don't get it. So you're going to penalize law-abiding citizens because of people out there that will never be law-abiding citizens, do whatever evil it is that they do. That's basically what is happening here.
I'm not so sure that I mean, I don't know what all the 9 bills are that they're looking to do. I'm not so
the 9
sure.
bills are to take away your freedom.
I get that. And, I understand the Second Amendment and I'm for that, but I'm not so sure that in some of these cases, it's not a bad idea to, to buy an AR-15. Maybe you do need to be 21 to buy one of those. But
okay, then maybe you need to be 21 to fight for your country.
I get it.
I mean, I don't
that's
know.
why
That makes no sense to me.
That's why I never would be for it specifically. But I mean,
my uncle.
Look at what 18-year-olds look like these days. How many of them
How many 18-year-olds fought in World War II, a war on 2 fronts, and won?
Right.
Come on, you can't give me that argument. It's a bad argument. It's a very bad argument.
At 18, I think an 18-year-old today is different than an 18-year-old back then.
I don't think so. I think it's all in perspective. Right?
I'm just
it's your perception
if
of
they're
what
just
an 18-year-old.
talking about this one specific weapon that if you still go through the process and get your permit and have people,
it doesn't matter because
get a handgun at 18,
doesn't matter.
That's one thing.
You're missing the point.
But to be able to walk into a store and just buy an automatic weapon or
but you're missing the point.
Weapon,
they'll find a way to get one if they can't walk into a store and get one. That's all I'm saying. Is that people that are doing, the perpetrators of these most heinous crimes, and are doing the shootings every day. The majority of the guns are not legal. Should an 18-year-old be able to walk into a store and buy a gun on his 18th birthday? Well, the same question is, does this country want to send an 18-year-old to fight a war? You have to figure it out. It can't be both.
Right. No, I get that.
It cannot be both. So you figure it out. But over the weekend, and let's be clear, the Uvalde shooting was a horrible, the Buffalo, Uvalde, Texas.
2 psychopaths.
Horrible, horrible evil.
Mm-hmm.
The devil is having a heyday the last couple of weeks.
Mm-hmm.
The devil is just running rampant. It's a horrible, awful thing. But let me just tell you this, because you're not going to hear it anywhere else. More than 30 people died over the weekend from gun violence. Over 30 people died over the weekend from gun violence. Have we heard about that?
Where's their names?
Have we talked about that?
No.
Has that been obviously front and center on the television news? More than 30 people lost their lives to gun violence over the weekend. Dozens of victims, including 13 in Philadelphia alone. Philadelphia, Chicago. We made the list because one was shot to death here in Rochester. Small little town. Way smaller than Philly and Chicago.
Right.
In Philadelphia, this guy and his teenage boy were shot to death in their car going to a cookout. 2 women were killed and a 14-year-old child injured at an outdoor hookah smoking party. But
that's when you got that big ass bong in the center.
What's a 14-year-old doing at a hookah party? I'm asking.
You connect these tubes to it. Isn't that what that is?
Yeah. 14-year-old killed at a hookah smoking party or severely
Yeah,
injured.
how many people died in car accidents this past weekend?
Well, I don't think 30.
There's a lot more than 30
I mean, I don't know.
died in car accidents. We don't ban the cars.
So you have these people, 13 in Philadelphia. You have 6 in Chicago. And it's just mayhem everywhere. But you're not hearing about the more than 30 people dead from illegal gun violence.
Right.
None of these people killed in Chicago or Philadelphia or here in Rochester were killed with legal weapons.
Right.
We know that.
A vast majority.
So this isn't a story for the liberal left. They don't care about gun violence that is perpetrated by criminals already on the street.
No, it's
What they do want to do is take a situation like Buffalo at the tops and the situation in Texas and make it a reason to kick through nonsense laws. You know it, and I know it.
well, the first question is always, who's the victim? I mean, who's the shooter, right? And then when it's not a white male, then it's like, okay, well, nothing really to see here.
Here's my take on generally when you see these kind of mass shootings, it's always young, white male, right? Ages
It's
anywhere from
58-year-old, 57-year-old white women, Kimberly.
Yes, I do.
That's where it's going.
Yes. That's how I solve any problem. I pick up my 9 milli and I go out and I shoot up. I shoot up the neighborhood.
You would think with PMS and everything that 35-year-old white women would be shooting up everybody.
So
but for some reason they don't.
The perpetrators of these mass shootings are 18 to 25-year-old young white men. Why? I don't know if you and Chad addressed this last Wednesday, but you want to know my take?
Sure.
So here's my take on why young white males are perpetrators of these horrible, heinous crimes.
And now the news.
So parents don't want to parent their kids, right? Little boys. Parents don't want to parent their little boys. And from the time these little boys have gotten into kindergarten or first grade, they, either parents think they're too rambunctious or the teachers in school think the kids are too rambunctious. So you know what they do? So since little Johnny is a boy and can't sit still, they want to put little Johnny on meds. From the time the little boy is maybe 5 or 6, doctors say he can't pay attention. He can't sit still. He can't sit still in class, blah, blah, blah. And so instead of just letting little Johnny be a little boy, they want to medicate the kid. You got to get him to calm down. Little Johnny is just too hyped up. Little Johnny is he's ADD. Oh, something that didn't even exist 25 to 30 years ago. The ADD is just something new that came about in the mid to late 90s. Oh, I've got to medicate my kid. He's just off the chart, too much to handle. He can't sit still. So you medicate these kids because no one wants to parent their child. The teachers can't handle him, so medicate little Johnny so he sits completely zoned out in class. All of a sudden, we don't have to deal with him anymore. And the parents don't have to deal with little Johnny anymore. And I know this is not going to be a very popular opinion, but quite frankly, I don't care. So we medicate these kids, and then all of a sudden, one day, they go off their meds. And so what do? They're completely screwed in the head. It alters their brain because when they're little, their brains are just forming, They're little boys, their brains haven't completely formed, and you put them on these psychotropic drugs, and all of a sudden they go off the drugs at 17 or 18 when they get into high school or out of high school, and they're completely effed.
Yeah, could very well be.
So, and then you wonder why so many of these kids are screwed up, have mental issues, because we've had them on drugs for years.
Do you think the drug companies are going to allow some sort of study that actually looks at that?
I would love for there to be a study.
Yeah, fat chance.
I would love to know if the kid in Buffalo had been on any kind of ADHD meds. I would love to know if this kid in Uvalde, Texas, had ever been medicated. I just think that's what we're looking at. We have these kids all of a sudden at 5 or 6 years old, and you're putting them on some kind of whacked out drug to make them sit still. And you think that's not going to have any effect on them later in life when they've been medicated their entire lives? Did you have your son on any kind of medication?
No, I probably needed it.
No, you didn't need it. People are just normal.
I had ADHD or whatever it is before it was even invented.
Some people are just more active than others.
Right.
And little boys are just going to be little boys. They need to be out running around and doing stuff. And instead, the other part of that opinion is the drugs that we put our kids on at an early age while their brain is still forming. And then we set them in front of hey, go play video games.
Right.
Go play video games. Go play video games. Get out of my hair. Go play video games.
The video games are the babysitter.
And we buy them the most violent, bloody video games that are so realistic. And they're shooting people's heads off in these videos.
7-year-olds.
Right? Little ones. Austin, you play video games, right?
Okay, yes.
Tell me,
right,
when you're on a video game, some of them have live chats. How old are some of these kids playing these god-awful video games?
But I'm going to play devil's advocate on this one. Okay. I don't think the video games are fault. For one, there is a rating system on video games. It's the responsibility of the parent.
Of course.
A violent video game is rated R.
Okay, because I've never snuck into an R-rated movie at 13.
Well, right, but the 7-year-old kids aren't sneaking into an R-rated movie.
No, of course not.
And so it's the responsibility of the parent to know what content their kids are consuming.
Okay, I'll go with you on that.
It's not the responsibility.
But answer my question though.
Okay. There are kids playing violent video games for sure.
7, 8-year-olds, 9-year-olds, and probably better at the video game than you are.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I'm getting old. I'm
Austin. What's the old driving game? Do they still have that? The one.
Grand Theft Auto.
That's the one. How many 7 and 8-year-olds are on Grand Theft Auto banging hookers and shooting them in the head, pulling them out of cars?
Well, who knows?
And some of these games are freaking so realistic. It's so realistic.
Yeah.
The blood is realistic. The avatars are realistic. I don't know if that's what you call them.
Yeah.
I don't know.
There are studies, by the way, that say there aren't links
all.
between video games and violence. Just
saying. There's no.
Yeah.
I don't believe that.
Okay.
I think that's bullshit.
Those studies were paid for by
the video game industry. Yes. Yeah. The studies are brought to you by the video game industry, right? I don't believe any of that. And it's just like the pharmaceutical companies or, people saying, no, Kimberly, you don't understand. My kid was really hyperactive. No, I bet he wasn't. I bet you were just a lazy ass parent who didn't want to parent their child. And you just didn't want to get outside with them and play games with them and go hiking with them and play basketball with them and get them involved in after school sports. You know why? Because it was inconvenient to the parent. Because the parent actually, once you had a kid, that's where your responsibility stopped. You wanted someone else to parent your kid. And when someone else wouldn't parent your kid, you just stuck them on meds and stuck them in front of a violent video game. And now here you are, 18 to 20 years later, wondering why little Johnny took an AK and went into a school and shot up babies. And there you are. There's your answer.
Your actions as a parent has consequences.
Video games, little to no parental responsibility for your child at all, and meds. Figure it out. It's not really hard, guys. I don't know.
I think there's a lot of. I don't think you can nail one issue with any of this, which is why everybody just sidesteps it. Is that it's not one specific thing; it's a combination of everything.
Well, it's a combination
but those two things that you just mentioned to me should be at the top of the list.
But no one talks about it.
Nobody.
Because no one wants to talk about the why.
Just blame the gun.
They just want to blame the gun.
Right.
And it's not the gun. It's parents.
100%.
And it's medication. And it's those stupid ass video games that they have no business playing at all. Get your kid outside doing stuff.
Buy a damn coloring book.
Get them out on the hockey where they can really
Does anybody color
violence.
anymore? I spent hours coloring.
I love coloring.
Colors.
I love the color. I never
Austin, did you ever color?
I did color. Coloring was great. Absolutely.
Okay, so here's something I never had.
Chutes and ladders. Play some damn chutes and ladders.
I never had the colors that had the sharpener in the back. You know, the great big set of colors.
Yes, the 64 pack.
Lois wouldn't buy those for me because they were too expensive.
Did you eat your crayons, Kimberly?
No,
I was a crayon. No, I wasn't a
I
crayon.
sniffed
eater.
Elmer's glue.
Austin was a
Hence
crayon eater.
The craziness of today.
Hey, no, you can't prove that.
My daughter ate crayons in the back seat of my new Ford Explorer when she was 2 and puked the crayons all over the back.
Perfect.
If you see Chloe and you know Chloe, ask her why she puked crayons in the back of her mama's new Ford Explorer. That will,
Water under the bridge.
But in all seriousness, this is not a gun issue, people. And I know that the Democrats love, to toot that horn all day long, 24/7. They're going to blame the gun, the gun, the gun. And it's not the gun. It's a great excuse to take more of your freedom away, though, which is exactly what they want to do. And I get it. Those babies and those people in Buffalo.
Yeah.
Can I tell you?
Heart-wrenching.
Someone sent me the video.
Oh,
Have you seen the video in Buffalo?
I won't watch it. No.
I can't even tell you. I cried
Well,
watching that video.
It literally was a video game he taped.
It was.
Yeah.
And how he went into the grocery
And people,
store.
sick ass people, watched it live.
They did before they cut it
Yeah.
off. I think it ran for probably, I don't know, 5 or 6 minutes.
Mhm.
I watched it one time and cried.
Yeah.
Because he just went in and
hang
did his.
the bastard right in the city square.
It was horrible. Someone did send me the video. I did watch it. I wished I hadn't.
Can't take that back,
Because
right?
you can never unsee that.
Right.
You can never unsee that. And I will tell you, after watching that, that was nothing but pure, unadulterated evil
Hate.
and hate.
Yeah.
That had, and he would have found a way, regardless of whether it would have been with his guns or someone else's guns, because he was not motivated by the gun. He was motivated by evil and hate. He wasn't just
Period. End of
that's
story.
it.
Yeah.
It's not a gun thing with that kid in Buffalo or with this kid in Texas. It's something far bigger than that.
The kid shot his grandmother.
Did she
Appar-
live, by the
apparently
way?
she's still
on
alive,
life
the last I
support?
heard.
Yeah.
But that all goes back to the whole school there in Texas. I mean, you have these protocols for a reason, security protocols, and somebody violated a protocol. 99.9% of the time,
Mhm.
you leave the door wedged open. Oh, I got a box in my car. I got to go out to my car. So, I don't want to have to get
I
my
know.
key, or I don't want to have to get
It's
my
a-
pass out of my purse or my
Right.
wallet. I'll just put a quarter or something up against the thing.
A
and
wedge, a
little
wooden wedge,
and
whatever.
so the door doesn't close, so I don't have to reach in my purse and hang the box up against the school wall so that I can get out my pass and open the door. But hey, there's a reason why you have to do that, because 1 out of 1,000 times there'll be a madman sitting there waiting to come in.
Exactly. And that's the one
there's
time.
a reason why there's single point entry in these schools.
That's right. And so, you look at these people motivated by evil and hate, not by guns, not about the gun. You got to take the gun out of the equation, because they'll use any means to kill people, whatever it is, illegally, legal, whatever. Cars, they ram it into
Mhm.
Christmas parades.
Right.
That's what they did in, where was it? Was it Wisconsin?
Yeah, Waukesha.
Waukesha, Wisconsin in December. You never hear about that.
No, Biden didn't go there.
Guy rammed his car into a Christmas parade.
Yeah, nothing.
So again, let's look at this 10-year-old again. Let's look at the 10-year-old that was arrested because mom and dad had guns at the house.
Yeah, where do you think he's going?
That kid doesn't even look normal. He's dead. The eyes are dead. Whatever that kid has gone through in his short 10 years on earth,
Yeah, he's probably been abused.
have not been good.
Kid, I bet you he hasn't lived a good life.
And so now the kid's motivated by evil and hate. He hates everything around him because of how he was raised and who he was raised by. He has so much hate because of however he was treated from a baby until the time he was arrested on Monday.
We haven't mentioned the hero there, the Border Patrol agent who had a kid, and his wife's like a teacher in the school. and he went into the school when all the cops were outside, and he went in the school, got his wife and his child out of the school, and then went back in and shot the guy while all the cops are standing outside, picking their ass. What the hell?
Don't know what happened.
I mean,
with
that story is insane.
I don't even know what
that
happened.
Here's
with
an
that.
off-duty Border Patrol agent that's just like, you guys are going to stand here and pick your ass? All right, I'll go take care of this.
Yeah. I think the reasoning behind that was they thought they had it contained.
Well, he had locked himself into a classroom after he shot so many kids.
Yeah. So it's just sad.
Yeah. I mean, who's doing that? I know, Mama Bear becomes, and some woman, after they handcuffed her, they took the handcuffs off her and she ran in the school and got her kid because the police weren't doing anything.
Right.
She went in the school unarmed and went and got her kid.
Yeah.
And left.
And of course, you don't know what you're running into, and I think the point was they didn't want to have a lot of dead parents, because believe me, he would have shot them.
Oh, I know.
If they happened to be in his area. It's a hard thing. I mean, it is a hard situation.
Then there was that story in West Virginia where a woman, there was some shooting. The guy was spraying bullets and she just pulled out her gun and shot him.
Good.
Yeah.
I wish there were more people who were carrying.
Yeah. Apparently nobody was. We're not hearing that story.
Yeah.
She just pulled it out of her purse and shot the guy, killed him.
So that was my thought. Just,
a lot of different things.
As I was, thinking about this, for days after, I'm like, this young, they have to do a study on how many of these young white male shooters have been on meds since the time that they were in kindergarten all the way through elementary and high school. To me, there is absolutely a correlation between the meds, the video games, and parents that just didn't give a shit.
I think parents that give a shit's probably number one, but the other two I definitely think are right up there.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
You got anything?
Well, a couple things. One of them,
just Tom's got some things. And by the way, you're watching.
I just want your take before
Kimberly's
I get into
Revolution.
something else.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, Kimberly's Revolution. And of course, we have our sponsors whom we love. Taylor Heating and Plumbing, and also Express Sealers and Precision Lawn and Garden. We love them. So go see them and buy stuff.
I want your quick take on this whole Rochester City School District thing with the teachers. You've heard about that, where they were texting between themselves and somehow it got leaked.
The racist dialogue between the teachers.
We all need, obviously there's no excuse for it. You should never be emailing at work. You should never be texting other people at work, because sooner or later it's going to come back to bite you in the ass. That's just a general warning to everybody. Don't email coworkers, things about other people there.
Yeah, you don't ever want to do that.
This to be a Rochester City School District teacher has got to be a nightmare. Just think of the way these kids must act towards you and the parents.
We know how they act. Someone had their hair set on fire by one of the students.
The lack of respect that goes on between child and adult has to be absolutely insane. And the fact that these teachers, have some release to other coworkers, it's like, hey, you're not going to believe what happened to me today, right? And these things aren't meant for the general public to see. Everybody has to release their tensions.
I would say don't do it on a text message.
Don't do it. Yeah.
I would say talk to your husband or your spouse or your dog about it.
Right.
If you have a problem about, how you're treated within the Rochester City School District as a teacher, I certainly wouldn't text other teachers about it.
Yeah, that's a bad idea.
And I know those kids call those teachers
all kinds of names,
horrible names. So you could even think, again, you had one student try to set a teacher on fire. So we know how Rochester City teachers are treated.
And here now all of a
sudden, teachers in general, it doesn't even have to be in Rochester. It's all over the country.
Now all of a sudden the superintendent of schools is so upset about, this. She didn't give a rat's ass when the kids say anything to the teacher. The kids could say anything they want to
or the teacher that was set on fire, or the vice principal, I think.
Yeah, nothing to see here on that, right?
Nothing.
But that'll be a good topic to keep an eye on going forward. Online sports guy, I know we just got a few minutes here. New York, over the last 5 months, since online sports gambling's been legal in New York State.
Yeah.
$267 million in taxes to New York State.
Why did my property taxes go up $2,000?
It's the highest of any state in the country.
What are they doing with the money? They're not fixing roads. I'll tell you that. Have you
5 months will be supposedly reinvested into education, youth programs, gambling prevention, and for gambling recovery addicts. Why don't we're
providing the gambling so that we can provide money to gambling addicts?
Right.
Now, that makes a whole hell of a lot of sense.
Why don't we take some of this money and lock our damn schools down? Pay for security.
Why don't we take some of that money and actually reduce property taxes?
Well, that's not going to happen. They've
property taxes.
They've got these nonprofits that they have, Kimberly. Somebody's got to fund these nonprofits so that their people can get paid.
That's why so many people are leaving the state of New York.
And lastly, on a real estate,
we can't afford to love New York.
Oh yeah,
that was the
last show.
Yeah,
and just an update on the real estate market. U.S. home prices in March rose again, 21.2% year over year. Is the market. That's how hot it is.
Wow.
And that's over the top 20 cities in the United States, over 1% a month. Never seen it. The 30-year fixed rate is now at 5.25%. And that doesn't, the market, even with all the indicators that are saying that this market is going to crash at some point, it is still smoking
hot.
It is smoking hot.
I'm getting ready to go do a final walkthrough.
Yeah.
Right now for clients that I have been working with for so long. Finally got them a house, and we're doing a final walkthrough this afternoon.
But the article I was reading, new construction prices are just increasing through the roof.
Yeah. And let me tell you, the base price for a house, if you're thinking about buying, isn't really your price. You can just tack about $80,000 on to that new home price.
Oh yeah.
Because those are your extras.
Right.
If you want anything fancy schmancy in your house, it's going to cost you.
So stay tuned. Shockingly, the South and the Southwest is where the markets are doing the best.
I bet.
And the Northeast and the Midwest is where they're not. In fact, Washington Washington, D.C. was only a 12.9% increase, was the lowest of the 20 cities as compared to the other ones. So New York, Washington, Boston, Chicago, and Minneapolis are the cities seeing the least increase compared to Phoenix, Arizona, which was number one in the last few months.
Too hot in Phoenix.
So
too hot for me.
So the market's not changing yet,
All
but
right.
Hold on to your hats. It's still going up.
You can reach us if you want to buy or sell here at Revere Realty, of course. Reach out to any of us here. All right, that is going to do it for Kimberly's Revolution. We got things to do. We got places to be. We have people to see.
We do?
Yeah, we got a lot of stuff going on.
Yeah, I was going to take a nap.
For Kimberly's Revolution today, I am Kimberly, of course, just Tom, Austin, our producer. We will be back tomorrow with Kimberly's Revolution at 4 o'clock.
Mr. Hummel.
With Chad Hummel. We thank all of our sponsors. Thank all the Patriots for watching. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, Kimberly's Revolution. It's free. What don't you love about free?
Free's free.
We'll see you tomorrow.
Have a good day. God bless. Be kind to others.
From attic to basement, we're here for you. It's quality service in all we do. Call Taylor 500 help.